Fellow biologists, today my fellow scientists and I are going to teach you a lesson.
We will be learning about the structure, function, and chemical properties of carbohydrate molecules.
First, we will talk about the structure of carbohydrate. Carbohydrate molecules are made of the elements carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen.
Carbohydrate molecules are made up of sugars, monosaccharides, disaccharides, and polysaccharides. These are structures of the 3 sugars that were discussed in the last clip.
Monosaccharides are a singular simple sugar. The most significant one is glucose, and another example is fructose. Disaccharides are 2 monosaccharides bonded together through the dehydration process. A common example of a disaccharide is sucrose. Polysaccharides come in the form of starches. They are long chains of simple sugar monosaccharides and are mainly used as energy storage and helping with structure. Another example of a polysaccharide is cellulose, which is used in plants. While it is still used to help the structure of cell walls, carbohydrates are also used to deliver energy for plant growth.
This is a visual aid that represents the information that Rachel just taught us. Let's quickly dive into the chemical properties of carbohydrates as they correspond with their structure.
Mono and disaccharides, the sugars, are soluble. The polysaccharide starches, however, are too big and are insoluble.
The way carbohydrates work in the body is that they are broken down into their simple sugars, which dissolve into the bloodstream. Now we are going to talk about the biological function of carbohydrates and the role that carbohydrates play in aiding living organisms.
One of the main functions of carbohydrates is to provide your body with energy, and carbs are converted into fuel through cellular respiration.
Cellular respiration is the process that converts biochemical energy from nutrients to adenosine triphosphate and then releases waste products.
Starches and sugars are kinds of carbohydrates and are the main energy providing sources for your body.
Glucose is a type of sugar that can be converted into glycogen. Glycogen is the energy provider for the brain and red blood cells because they cannot receive proteins and fats directly.
Glycogen storage is a way for the body to make sure that it has enough glucose for all functions of the body.
Humans and animals store energy in glycogen, but plants store energy in starch, which can then be broken down into glycogen.
Another function of carbohydrates is protein sparing, which is when your body uses carbohydrates for energy instead of protein.
Carbohydrates can also help in aiding digestion. Carbohydrates break food down into saccharides, but there is a carb that is broken down differently.
Fiber is not digested by your body, and it goes through your intestine and then creates a bulk that can push waste out of your body. But Sydney, how does structure affect the function?
Great question. Next, we'll get into the relationship between structure and function.
Since monosaccharides are in the form of simple sugars, they are soluble. This connects to its function because sugars can then be dissolved into the bloodstream, providing us energy.
The structure of carbohydrates is ideal for its function of energy storage because carbohydrates contain many carbon-carbon bonds. Those covalent bonds contain lots of energy.
And since polysaccharides are bigger, they have more of those bonds, so they contain even more energy. They are also harder to break down, giving polysaccharides the ability to have long-term storage.
That was a lot of info, but it all made sense.
Thank you so much for listening to our video about carbohydrates.
We hope you enjoyed it.